the Dancing Bear Enlightenment Academy's Holistic Transformation Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Beverly. This time I'm going to give a short talk. It's based on a class I used to give a long time ago. I used to have, well, I still have my acupuncture practice, but I don't have a big office any longer with a big lobby. And I used to do classes and meetup groups and all kinds of things in the lobby. And all my classes and everything that I teach, I was teaching out of my lobby. And one of my past students said, would you please talk about fasting again? Because I gave a class on fasting. And fasting really helped me heal, and we'll get into more of that. And so I'm going to share with you my notes from back then. So I have my class notes, and I have the notes that I got from the source where the information came from. And so tonight I'll talk a little bit about, why fast, what types of fasting are there, does it detox you or not? How can it help you heal? Can you use it for weight management? And resting your digestion, all the reasons you might want to fast. But I'm going to focus on one specific style of fasting, how I did it, and how it specifically helped me. Now, just know that there is no one answer. There is no do this and you'll be successful. Everybody's body is different. And when you talk about fasting, you need to know that everyone shouldn't fast, and you shouldn't just say, oh, I'm going to just start fasting now. So we'll talk about, those are called contraindications. So we'll talk about those and whatever else comes up. Okay. So some of the benefits of fasting are you can adapt your cellular response to reduce oxidative damage and inflammation. Now, that might be too medical for you, so I'll break it down a little bit more in a minute. So it can optimize your energy metabolism and boost cellular protection. Long-term fasting extends longevity, in part by reprogramming metabolic and stress-resistant pathways. Excuse me. So that's the medical definition of fasting benefits. The medical definition of disease prevention is periodic fasting protects against diabetes, cancers, heart disease, neurodegeneration. It reduces obesity, hypertension, asthma, thyroid imbalances, and rheumatoid arthritis. It can potentially delay aging and prevent and treat diseases while minimizing side effects caused by chronic dietary interventions. In other words, yo-yo dieting. The fasting state triggers stem cell regeneration and growth and has been shown to generate new brain cells. So let's talk about this in a little bit easier terms. We'll talk about types of fasting. So I thought I had more notes on that. I guess I don't. So one contraindication is do not use this process if you have an eating disorder, diabetes type 1, or any other serious health condition. You need to contact your practitioner for help. Now, if you have 2 diabetes, insulin-dependent diabetes, or you're under the care already of a healthcare professional, you still need to contact them to make sure you can fast and what type of fasting is okay for you. So let's talk about the types of fasting. So types of fasting can include dry fasting. So there's hard and soft dry fasting. So hard dry fasting, You don't even take a shower. You don't let water touch your body at all. You don't even brush your teeth. I've never done a hard dry fasting and I don't recommend it. The wet fasting is you use water. Personally, I distill I have a water filter on the whole house. So even the showers I take are clean water. Then I take the water and I distill it and I put it in blue bottles in a windowsill. It's called Ho'oponopono water. And then I take that water and that's what I drink. That's what I drink 24/7, whether I'm fasting or not. Now I do intermittent fasting, which we'll come to in a moment. So then there's juice fasting. So if you want to add a little bit of juice to your water, you can. I never do that because some people say, well, you need glucose for the brain, and this is true. But after about 24 hours or a little longer, the brain converts, it usually uses up the glucose in the system. So then it converts to burning glucagon from the liver. And when that runs out, it starts burning fat. So if it's a weight loss program, you want to just use pure, clean water. Not bottled water. Bottled water is very toxic. It's full, it comes in plastic bottle. Now, if you buy glass bottles, it might be okay depending on the brand. A lot of brands are just top tap water that they ran through charcoal filter. And one particular brand I won't name bought water from Lake Michigan. So they're just taking Lake Michigan water and bottling it. Really? Ooh, yuck. You know, there's all kinds of stuff in a big lake, in a lake that big. So I would suggest at the very least buying quality water. I do not buy distilled water at the store because it comes in plastic bottles. So they take perfectly good water that's clear and empty. They put it in plastic and it immediately leaches everything out of the plastic it can. So I distill it. So if you have a bottle water brand that you think is okay, use that. Then you have intermittent fasting where, and there's different types of intermittent fasting. So you can have time restricted, like I eat within a 5-hour period every day. I roughly start around within a 2 or 3 hour block of time each day. And I have one main meal and a very small, tiny snack because I can't get it. When I first started doing it, I can't figure out why I was so hungry. I couldn't get enough calories in one meal because I get full. So I added a snack to add more calories, and then I'm fine. You do not have to do intermittent fasting. It depends on why you are fasting. So some of the benefits and some of the things to consider is 8 hours after the last meal is consumed, the body dips into glucose that is stored in the liver and muscles for energy. This helps prevent fatty liver. So maybe you want to prevent fatty liver. Now, there's other things to prevent fatty liver. That includes not drinking alcohol. It includes not using any kind of vegetable oil. Olive oil is okay. But there's things labeled vegetable oil, very toxic, soy oil, canola oil. I never use those kinds of oils, and they will lead to fatty liver. And something's going wrong with my voice. So hold on a second while I clear my throat. Okay, sorry about that. Don't want to talk with a funny sounding throat. You can add fresh lemon or limes or other citrus if you want to your water. Some people say you can add different juices, but I never use juices. There's too much fructose. Fructose damages the liver, especially high corn syrup, fructose. But most fruits only have fructose and glucose. You process the glucose, but not the fructose. So you need to be careful how much fruit you get. And if you're sensitive to lemon, you might try limes. And if you're sensitive to citrus, then just drink water. There are electrolyte powders, but most of them have some kind of sugar or sugar substitute in them. So anytime you have something sweet, the body says, I want more sweet. So it does stimulate your hunger. Okay, so we won't go into the rest of that. Let me find some more of my notes. It will help you lose weight and belly fat if you do fasting with intermittent fasting. So you can do like a 1 hour fast, a 1 hour fast, a 1 day fast, 48 hours or 72 hours. I do a fast every day. It has to be at least 16 hours. I try to do 17. It depends. I vary when I eat depending on my schedule. So if you can do that on a regular basis and then maybe once a week or so, do a 24-hour fast. Depending on who you talk to, they'll give you, oh, do it this way, do it that way. Listen to your body. What can your body tolerate? And start off slow. Start off with an intermittent fasting. Start off with a 24-hour fast. Then go to a 48-hour. Because if you just start off trying, oh, I'm going to do a 7-day fast, you won't make it. Okay, you got to build up. You have to learn some of the tricks so that you don't get hungry and what have you. And I'll share some of that with you now. But you need to train the body to get used to not eating, especially if you eat 3 meals a day and a couple of snacks. Like if you watch TV at night and you sit there snacking, all of that has to change. Because if you just cold turkey try to just not eat, your body's going to go crazy. Oh, you're going to feel like you're literally starving to death. So you need to build up. So start slow, don't push yourself. And like I said, work with a healthcare professional. So some say it may improve your insulin sensitivity, reducing risk of type 2 diabetes, even reversing what some people call type 3 diabetes, which is insulin dependent diabetes, insulin dependent type 2 diabetes. Again, if you have type 1 diabetes, never fast. You need to manage your insulin and blood sugar levels. It improves your brain function and mental clarity. When I have a big whatever I need to put together, I'm going to work on writing a book or I have a class to put together, I literally don't eat until I have whatever is done that I'm going to do that day, because I'm much sharper, I'm much faster, I'm much more focused. You don't focus, if you ever eaten lunch and then you come back to work or to a class or whatever you're doing, and then you just, oh man, I ate. And that's usually because you had a lot of carbs, but still the body just shuts down. So you can't think. So fasting helps you. That's why they say if you're going to meditate, fast first, then meditate, especially if you're going to do a long meditation. Now, I try to meditate all the time. I'm in and out of meditation, and I try to stay connected to source all day. So it's a little different for me, but not everybody's like that. So anytime you're going to do any kind of spiritual work, shamanic journeys, meditations, hypnotherapy, if you're doing self-hypnosis, whatever, it's better to fast. It may prevent cancer, only some kinds. You need to, again, if you have cancer, think you have cancer, work with your healthcare professionals. Fasting good for me. Will it help? There is some evidence on cancer patients showing fasting reduces various side effects of chemotherapy. Again, if you're in chemo, work with your doctor. Tell them fasting helps, because there's many, many different kinds of chemo and many other kinds of drugs they use with chemo. You need help from your doctor. There's some evidence that it could help you live longer. It may be beneficial for cardio health, and it can reduce inflammation in the body, which leads to premature aging, chronic disease, and chronic pain. So if you have fibromyalgia, things like that. Well, if you have fibromyalgia, you also need to change your diet. I had fibromyalgia and I got rid of it by changing my diet. A lot of people don't tell you that. And I used to want to have fibromyalgia patients as my primary client. That was my master's thesis in acupuncture school. And I found out, oh, they like to complain. So they're not a good candidate. But if you really do want to get rid of fibromyalgia, change your diet and start fasting and release all those emotional issues that I need attention and I need something to complain about, because you need to heal that as well. It will improve your eating patterns. You will no longer get hungry every couple hours. Right now, you're probably eating wheat and sugar and all kinds of things in your diet, and this makes you hungry. It doesn't carry you over. You'll have a high carb meal, and once you get over the pass out stuff, which is the sugar in your bloodstream going too fast because you didn't have enough fiber and fat to slow it down. It can change your eating patterns. Now you don't need to eat as often. You won't get hungry as often, and you'll learn to stop eating at night. You shouldn't eat anything after 5 or 6 at night, depending on when you go to bed. But it should be a minimum of 4 hours before you go to bed. And if you're having a heavy meal, it should be even more than 4 hours. And by a heavy meal, I mean you're eating some heavy protein. And it can regulate your hormones. So, let's see, what do we want to talk about next? So one way to start is, like I was saying, avoid all snacks for a few days until you no longer need them. So that start there. So you have to build up to this. So first get rid of snacks and then eat in a 12-hour window of time. So 12 on, 12 off. And if you make part of the 12 while you sleep, you don't notice. So the sooner you stop eating in the evening, then you can have something to eat in the morning. Or you can learn to start skipping the morning meal. And instead of having coffee, which is diuretic and not so good for you, I know a lot of people say, oh, coffee's good. No, coffee is not good. I don't drink any coffee. So have some warm water. Some people say, oh, I've got to have my coffee in the morning to wake up. Yeah. A cup of warm water will do the same thing. It has to be clean water, like I discussed before. But warm up the water, pour it in a cup, let it cool off a little. It's wintertime and it's cold. So lately I've been doing herb tea. This morning, I think I had strawberry, raspberry herb tea. So it doesn't have any green tea or black tea or anything in it. It's just the herbs. And I put a little of whipping cream in it. So I don't whip it. I just buy organic grass-fed cream from grass-fed cows with no hormones, no antibiotics. No other kind of cream is okay. And if you can't handle dairy, skip the cream and just have the herb tea. But it should be a tea without black or green tea or matcha. It should just be herbs. And there's many, many kinds of herbs. There's dandelion tea, all kinds of great herb teas, chamomile. I've baskets of different teas. So in the winter, especially when it's cold out, you may want to have a tea because you're going to drink more than one cup. That's okay. It's a water. Gradually eliminate breakfast and start eating only 2 meals a day. Okay. And as you do this to overcome the narrow eating time, so maybe in the beginning you eat in a 10-hour period, then a 7, a 6, a 5. If you can get it down to 4 or 5 hours a day, that's cool. Not everybody can. I have it down between 5 and 8 hours, depending, because I vary it. And some days I have a shorter window, sometimes I have a bigger window. So it's not exactly the same every day. I go by when I'm hungry. I'm hungry. I think I'll eat early today. Oh, I have all these meetings. I'll wait and eat late. I'm late at 4 o'clock. That's late. Okay. So I'll eat at 4. So then the next day I may eat sooner, but I'll have a shorter window. So I'll stop eating sooner so that I can go my 16, 17 hours and eat earlier the next day. So you learn to just adjust it and you keep track. There are apps that will help you keep track. You can write it down in a journal. You can put it in your calendar, however you want to keep track. I've been doing it for so many years. I just have it in my head. I don't need to write it down anymore. But I did use an app in the beginning to help me. So when you're comfortable eating 2 meals a day, then start lowering your window down from 8 hours. And eventually, if you can get it down to 1 meal a day or 1 meal and a snack, like I said, I can't eat enough calories in that 1 meal because I get full. So then I added the snack in. So I do that all the time so that when I want to do a 24 or 48-hour fast or a longer fast, I can. So when is the best time to do a fast? In the spring, right after the winter. We all get a little bit slower and heavier in the winter. And so it's January. So you might think this might be a good time to fast. This would be a good time to start learning how to narrow that window of when you eat. Make sure you're eating organic, healthy foods. Make sure your water is healthy. Make sure you have only good oils. By the way, if you can do dairy, butter is an excellent oil. Um, Bacon fat, if you eat pork, is an excellent oil. They said, oh, animal fat's really bad for you. That was a lie. But if you don't do dairy or you don't eat pork, those two don't work. But olive oil, and if you really want a plant-based diet, coconut oil. You can get organic, unprocessed coconut oil. And if you live in an area like I do where it gets really hot in the summer and the coconut oil melts, you'll have to put it in the refrigerator, which makes it so hard you can't get it out. So you might need some MCT oil, which is called fractionated olive oil, because it'll just pour and you can store it at room temperature. Well, you need to read the label. You may need to also refrigerate it, but it doesn't get hard. So there's ways of using coconut oil. And then there's other oils, flaxseed oil. Flaxseed goes rancid really easy, so I did not need to use it. Okay, so once you're comfortable eating only 2 meals a day, continue to start narrowing it until you can get down to 4 to 5 hours a day and eat 1 meal a day. So continue that indefinitely. Again, you can add in a 24, 48-hour fast once a week or every other week or once a month, whatever works for you. Again, check with your healthcare professional as to what will be healthy. Everybody's body is different. I see some of these YouTube videos and podcasts where people say, this is what you do. No, you have to work with your body. And everybody's different, and you may have health concerns and you may have to build up to it like I did. I tried fasting for years and couldn't do it. For one thing, I always got sick. Every time I tried to do a liver detox, I got sick. And every time I tried to fast, I got sick. And it wasn't just that I was hungry, but I mean, I was nauseous. I mean, I just felt terrible and I couldn't do it. So this is not a weight loss diet. So you don't need to count calories, okay? This is a calorie management or food management diet. And we do not need to eat 3 meals a day. I mean, I went to naturopathic medical school and they said, oh, eat breakfast like a king. What are you going to do if you eat breakfast like a king? You're going to walk around, eat lunch like a queen, and dinner like a pauper. Well, I agree that you shouldn't have too much food late at night. That's not cool. Some people eat really late at night or they snack while watching TV. Really not cool. But I try to eat sometime in the early afternoon. I find that works the best. Unless I have a lot of meetings and then I eat a little bit later after my meetings. So go slow for your particular needs. Everyone is different. Some may progress quickly while others go very, very slow. It depends on how strong your body is, how healthy you are. Do you have any issues? Are you taking any medications that say you shouldn't fast, or medications that say you shouldn't have certain types of citrus like grapefruit, or most blood pressure meds are contraindicated with grapefruit. So you need to know what your limitations are based on your medications. That's where your healthcare practitioner comes in. And if you cheat, you're going to gain weight, you're going to get hungrier between meals, and it completely defeats the purpose of what you're doing. So it's really important to stop all forms of alcohol. It just gets converted directly into sugar in your body. You might say, well, I like my beer at night, or I like my glass of wine with dinner. Yeah, that's a habit. You don't need it. I used to drink all the time and think the same thing. Oh, I don't drink that much. And then I took this class, and yeah, when I started looking at how much I drank, oh, have a glass of wine with dinner. Yeah, every night, that's excessive. The most you should have is 3 glasses of wine a week. Okay, that's good. More than that's considered moderate drinker. So I just stopped drinking, and maybe once or twice a year, like Thanksgiving, I go to my brother's house. I might have a sip of wine, although this year I didn't. Last Thanksgiving, I didn't drink anything at his house. He finally learned not to offer it to me. So I brought my own water, and I put water in the wine glass and I toasted with water. You don't have to have wine or beer in order to do a toast. So um, one of the things I have in my notes here is try to eat around the same time each day and only eat if you're hungry. Well, if you only eat when you're hungry, it may not be the same time each day. It depends on what you ate for the previous day. Some days I'll have certain foods and I just don't get hungry at all. So if you're not hungry, wait. But don't wait until it's after you're like, if it's after 5 o'clock, I'm not going to have a meal that day. I might have a little snack and that's it. I'm not going to have a heavy meal, and I'll wait and have my main meal the next day. Or I might have an egg. Eggs are excellent nutrition. Almost everything you need is in an egg. If you're vegan, I'm sorry, you're probably not healthy. There is no vegan diet that's healthy. You have to supplement. Most supplements are not that good for you, depending on where you're getting them. So if you're a vegetarian, an egg won't hurt you once in a while. So you can also, if you do dairy, you can have a small piece of cheese. The fat in the cheese will carry you through the night. You won't get hungry. So it will amp up your energy. So if you're tired all the time, start fasting. It's going to give you more energy, mental clarity. And let's see. Okay, I covered that. Again, I cannot emphasize this enough. If you have any concerns, abnormal symptoms, you're on any medications, contact your medical or healthcare professional first. If you start this program, whatever program you decide is right for you, and you start getting symptoms, you don't feel right, instead of energy, you have low energy, instead of mental clarity, you got foggy thinking, contact someone and get help. So do not use this process if you have an eating disorder, or or you have diabetes type 1, diabetes, DM1. Okay, so let me get back to my other notes. I got like 3 different pages of notes. Okay, here we go. So we talked about dry fasting, wet fasting, intermittent fasting, time restricted eating, length of time to fast. So now let's say you want to do longer fast. Maybe you want to do a 3-day fast, 5-day fast, a 7-day fast. Some people even do 21-day fast. Do not start your fasting journey with a 21-day fast. You need to build up to that. I wouldn't even start with a 7-day or a 5-day fast. I'd start with, a 1-day fast, a 2-day fast, a 3-day fast, and build up so that your body is used to the fact that it's not starving. You don't want to go into starvation mode. You want to teach your body that just because you didn't eat doesn't mean you're starving. Because if your body thinks it's starving, all the willpower in the world isn't going to help you. You do not lose, I once asked the doctor, I said, how do I lose weight? I'm gaining weight and I don't know what to do. She said, push yourself away from the table sooner. That absolutely does not work. Your willpower will lose every time. No one has the willpower against your hunger. Okay, all your hormones are against you. So you need to work on building up, training the body that it's not going to starve. You're not going to go hungry. You're not going to pass out. Now, if you're getting dizzy, you got a problem, contact your healthcare professional because you didn't build up properly. You should not get dizzy. If you are doing longer fasts, like 3-day, 5-day, 7-day, you shouldn't be going to the gym and doing, pumping iron, or doing a lot of long running. Those kind of exercises. Do simpler, you can do walking, walk fast, slow, fast, slow, fast. That's a really good cardio exercise. You can do some simple weight, 1 pound, 3 pound, 5 pound, whatever you do. Do some what I call isotonic exercises. But don't push yourself. Don't do as many reps, and not necessarily don't do it every day. You only need to exercise a couple days a week anyway. Well, walking, you need to do it every day, but the other kind of exercises focus maybe one day on upper body and another day on lower body, and do your fast that way. So how did I finally learn to fast? So remember I told you every time I fasted, I got sick. I wasn't even able to do a liver detox. I wasn't able to do anything for years. I tried. I worked with doctors. I worked with nutritionists. Nobody could figure out what the problem was. And then I finally found a fast that worked for me. Let me see if I can find the name of it. I thought I had it right here. What did I do with it? I thought I had it right here. Well, I'll find it. It's in here somewhere. So what you need, and I started with a 3-day fast. And then I went to a 5-day fast that included the liver. And then I did a 7-day fast that was included the liver and the kidneys. And that completely changed everything for me. So again, you need nice, clean water. And they recommended Concord grape juice with lemons, but you can also use other juices like dark grapes, black cherry, pomegranate, cranberry, guava, watermelon, dark berry juices. But like I said, I never use juices. If you use the Concord grape juice, I only found one brand and it's not organic. There is a sugar-free version, but there's no organic. So I tried it once, but I never used it again. Now I just use lemon and water. Again, if you have lemon sensitivities, you can try lime, some other citrus. If you can't do citrus, then maybe you can try one of the other juices. Pomegranate or cranberry are excellent juices, but for me, there's too much fructose. So next you need, all of these need to be food grade. So they said they have a different recipe. I've modified the recipe for me. So you get yourself a jar with a lid, and you get about a half a pound of psyllium husk powder. So that psyllium is Psyllium husk powder. Or you can just fill the jar about to here, 2/3 full. And then 8 tablespoons of bentonite clay powder, Bentonite, bentonite clay powder. And I'd fill it up to here and kind of shake it up. Now these both need to be human grade. And then you add 4 tablespoons of activated charcoal, powdered. It has to be human grade edible charcoal, not briquettes or something you use for a fire. This needs to be something you can eat, okay? Or what you can do is make this mixture. Now this has charcoal in it. You can see the black in there. I recommend more bentonite clay because it's more healing to the gut and it has a lot of other benefits. The purpose of the psyllium is it is not bioavailable. Other fibers are partially bioavailable, some are not, and they help give the bowels motility. They move through. Psyllium is not bioavailable, but it does absorb toxins. So as the liver detoxes, the toxins attach to the psyllium and come out. One of the reasons I got so sick is not only was my liver clogged up, my gut was clogged up. And when I tried to fast, I had the wrong microbes in the gut. You have more microbes in your gut than you have cells in your body. So if you have the wrong ones, you will be obese and you will not be able to lose weight. And if you have SIBO, which is the wrong probiotics in your small intestine, SI is small intestine, you're going to have all kinds of problems. You may even have parasites. So if you hear gurgling, if you get bloated after you eat, if you have constipation or diarrhea, your gut is a mess. And for years, I had chronic diarrhea. Well, first I had chronic constipation from the time I was a child. And then as I got older, I had chronic diarrhea. I had to have a lot of colonics. I did a lot of constitutional hydrotherapy for the liver. I was doing castor oil packs. I was doing everything. And when I started this fast, so I did a short fast first using the clay, the psyllium husks, and the charcoal. And now, every now and then I'll do a 1 day with this, or a 2 day, or a 3 day. But other times I'll do a 1 week or a 7 day. But like I said, you want to do those longer fasts in times like the spring. Now in Arizona, where I am, we have monsoon season at the end of summer. And that's another good time to do a longer fast. I don't recommend it in the winter. In the summer, you could do it in the summer, but make sure it's not a dry fast at all. you need the water or you'll dehydrate in no time. If you live someplace that's super, super humid and you hardly ever even drink water, it's so wet there, you might be able to do that in the summer. But remember, when it's hot out, you sweat and you're losing a lot of your body fluids. So you mix the dry ingredients together. And then when you want to use it, you pull out either 1 to 4 tablespoons. I used 1. I found that's more than enough. And each day you're going to make a large, maybe a 1 quart, if you drink about a quart a day, make a 1 quart jug of the water with citrus, or some other fruit juice if you're going to not use lemons, and add about 1 to 2 cups to I use a bowl. So I add water to the bowl, then I add a tablespoon of my concoction and I stir it. Now, if you didn't use the charcoal, you can buy charcoal in capsules. Now, when you work with powdered charcoal, it gets everywhere. And one time I could only find the capsules, and I opened the capsules to put the charcoal in the mixture. Oh God, don't ever do that. Charcoal sticks to everything. If you have grout in your kitchen, it will get in the grout and it's almost impossible to get out. If you get it under your nails, it's really hard to get off. You have to scrub with a brush to get that charcoal off. It's nasty stuff. So you can, if you're used to using the powder and you know how to use it and you've got the powdered version, and you can do a scoop and carefully put it in your the right amount in your jar, that's okay. Put the lid on and then shake it up. Don't shake it, don't stir it because it's powdery. Otherwise, you can take a tablespoon or 2 or 3 or 4 and 1 charcoal capsule. That will work also. And you just take it with the mixture. So the charcoal is going to kill parasites. It's going to filter anything out of your gut. It's very, very cleansing of whatever's down in your gut. The psyllium husks, can't say it tonight, I don't know what's wrong, is going to pick up any toxins, whether they're from the liver detox or from your gut. And the bentonite clay is going to heal your gut. Of course, bentonite clay has a lot of other benefits, but it will heal your gut. And if you have leaky gut, it's going to help plug the holes. So if you have allergies, especially if you have adult onset allergies, you have leaky gut syndrome. A lot of people say, oh, I never used to have these allergies. Now all of a sudden I have allergies. You have leaky gut. It's that simple. Okay, so drink the water slowly in small sips all day long. And if you're thirsty, you can drink a little more water. And if you get hungry, take a glass of water, small glass of water, and put just a pinch of either quality sea salt or Himalayan, depending on how you say it, salt in the water. And this is going to give you the electrolytes you need. Now you can get electrolyte powder. So if you're doing a longer fast and you want to add some electrolyte powder into your water, you can. Just make sure it doesn't have sugar in it. You also, if you're doing like a long fast, like when I did my 7-day fast, day 5, I took a green powder. The other day, I think I did a 3-day fast, and the 3rd day, I had green powder drink that day to go with the fast. So you need to prepare yourself before and after the fast. So before the fast, you want to cut out heavy foods like beef and dairy, eat a lot of vegetation, do your fast. And when you come off, one of the great ways to go off of your fast is with a broth and with a light meal, maybe fish, eggs, chicken, no heavy meats, and stick with the clean water. Let's see here what else I have. So I have, if I can find it, I have what else I did Okay, here's some foods to avoid. Most dairy, it creates mucus in the body. Again, it depends on you and what kind of dairy. A lot of people just eat any old kind. It has to be grass raised animals, free range, no hormones, no vaccines, no nitrates, any of that has to be really, really clean. And the more fat that it has, like hard cheeses, whipping cream, butter, it's mostly fat, not lactose. And it's usually the lactose that people can't handle. Stay away from grains and starches as they cause inflammation in the body. You want to stay away from chemical vitamins. So if you go to the store and you say, hey, I buy my stores at the pharmacy or the grocery store or Costco or Sam's Club or wherever, those are just about the worst vitamins you can get. They're chemical vitamins. And some of them are actually worse for you than if you didn't take anything. Okay, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. Some of them don't even have in them what it says on the label. Go do your research, look it up. That research is all available all over the place. You want to make sure they're non-GMO. Okay, so it should say, I think it's GNC or CGNC on the label. And that means it's been tested and certified that what it says is in it is actually in it. It shouldn't have any sugar or artificial sweeteners. Sometimes they'll say, oh, it's got cornstarch or potato starch. Starch is a sugar. Okay. It shouldn't have like erythritol or anything like that because it may not increase the insulin, but it makes you crave sweets. More contraindications if you're pregnant or lactating, do not do this. If you're insulin dependent diabetes, you need medical supervision. If you have any kind of psychological conditions, you're on any antipsychotic, don't do this. I wouldn't do it at all. I would just say, okay, this isn't for me until I'm off my meds. Once you're off your meds, go back to your doctor. Can I do fasting? And meds clog up the liver, by the way. So you want to heal yourself so you can get off the meds, and the meds don't heal you, in case you haven't figured that out yet. So again, contact your healthcare or medical professional if you have any concerns or abnormal symptoms. Okay. But if you don't, or if you're really healthy and I had contacted medical doctors and healthcare professionals, and none of them were able to help me. So I figured this out on my own. Okay. So let me find the herbs. Somewhere in here, I have the herbs that I took, and I wanted to share that. Because sometimes, maybe it's this file. I have so many files. Okay. It's not that one either. Okay, let me find. I took a number of herbs and supplements because I needed to heal my liver, heal the gut. Oh, here we go. I found it. Okay. So, to help with my kidneys, when I was able to help my kidneys, I took Lu Wei Di Wang Wan. So I think I'll have to post these in down below. Maybe I have this file written up. Maybe I will post this file so you have it, so you can download it. It's a Chinese herb formula that helps the kidneys and liver yin. So if you don't know anything about Chinese medicine, you go, what's yin? Well, yin supports the organ itself, the health of the organ. Yang is the function of the organ. If the structure of the organ isn't healthy, it won't function. So think of cirrhosis, fatty liver, etc. That is structure. So Lu Di Wang Wan, 1, 2, 3, is 5 words. Lu, Liu, means 6, and it's a 6-ingredient pill. Wan is a pill. Lu Di Wang Wan, and it supports the kidney and the liver during the fast. So on my longer fasts, I take Lu Di Wang Wan. Then there's a number of formulas from evergreen herbs. And most of the time, I only buy evergreen herbs formula because they're the purest you can get. I use a formula called Kidney DTX to detox the kidneys. Again, that's only needed if you're going to detox the kidneys. I first needed to detox them, and drinking distilled water will keep them detoxed. Now, a lot of people say, oh, you can't drink distilled water. Guess what? I've been drinking distilled water for decades. It's the cleanest, purest water you can get. Now, sometimes you need to make sure you're getting your electrolytes because distilled water doesn't have any electrolytes. So you may need to add them in. And one way is a pinch of like Himalayan salt. Now, let's talk about salts for a second. Himalayan salt is not made from the Himalaya. I don't know why in the US we say Himalayan, but everywhere else they call it Himalayan. So I'll use either word. You know what I'm talking about. It actually comes from Pakistan, but they don't package and ship it. They sell it to distributors. So you need to make sure you're working with a distributor that is not processing the salt. They're just grinding it up. So one way is to look at the label, and does it have any ingredient besides Himalayan salt? If it does, don't buy it. Then look at where the distributor is located, and some of them are come from a country that starts with a C. I don't buy anything from them. Okay. Not in the way of food, because you can't trust even their labels. Okay. So if you use sea salt, they're now finding a lot of sea salt has plastic in it because the ocean is full of so much plastic. There are little teeny pieces of plastic. Some people buy their salt from Utah, from the Great Salt Lake, because that salt lake was created before humans used plastic. So there are some salts that have been tested that are okay. I'm not going to give you brands. There's a couple that I use. It's up to you to do your own research and figure out which kind of salt is available for you, that works for you, that on the label it just says salt or sea salt or Himalayan salt or whatever kind of salt. So there's other sources of salt. So you can use a pinch of salt. For liver, I used a formula called Liver Detox DTX for detoxing the liver. Again, it's optional. You only need to use it if you're going to detox the liver. Then there's a formula called Herbal Detox DTX to detox chemicals, drugs, metals, toxins, etc. from the cells of your body. And then there's a formula called Restore AI, which will detox the lymphatic system. Again, that's optional, but I spent my early year, about 30 years in Silicon Valley as a programmer sitting at a desk. And then I started doing a lot of teaching and what have you, and I've done way too much sitting. So my lymph flow is not as good as it should be. So I use Resolve AI to help clean the lymph. And there's exercises you can do to move the lymph. You can wear support stockings, some people wear support hose. I don't wear a hose, but I have support stockings. If you walk or stand and you start getting leg cramps, or your legs start to hurt, your feet start to hurt, or you have swollen ankles, swollen calves, swollen feet, you need to start wearing compression socks. And then the Resolve AI will help you detox that lymph. Then there's a formula called Gardenia Complex, Gardenia, to detox inflammation or inflammatory conditions. Again, all of these are optional, and I wouldn't take all of them at the same time. I would say, today I'm going to detox blah. And maybe you do a 1, 2, 3 day fast, and you take that one specific herb that you're going to focus on detoxing. And then there's another formula called Xiaoyaosan. And Xiaoyaosan is the most prescribed Chinese formula in the world. It is powerful. There's also Jiawei Xiaoyaosan. So Xiaoyaosan will further support the liver. Again, it's optional. Jiawei Xiaoyaosan helps if you also have water problems like swollen ankles, swollen feet. A lot of people say, oh, if you have swollen ankles, it's either your kidneys or your heart. It could be your liver. The liver also causes swollen ankles. So I had swollen ankles. No one can help me. I had 2 doctors tell me it's your heart. I went to a cardiologist. He ran every possible test, CT scans, you name it. He did everything. And at the end, he looked at me and said, why are you here? He says, there's nothing wrong with you. I had kidney tests done, nothing wrong with the kidneys. And then I figured out when I took a naturopathy certification class, and they said at least 50% of Americans, because they eat the SAD diet, standard American diet, have subclinical fatty liver. What does that mean? It means you go to the doctor, they do a blood test, and all of your things are normal. You don't have high cholesterol, you don't have high blood pressure, everything looks good, but you still have fatty liver because by the time their tests say you have something wrong with your liver, you probably either have cirrhosis or hepatitis or some other very serious liver cancer is another one. By the time they catch it, you're really sick. So detox your liver now. And detoxing the liver is not just taking a detox formula. You need to change your diet. You need to do some fasting, and you probably need to add in some herbs to support what you're doing. And Xiaoyaosan is, I don't know how many patients I've had come into my office, and I do a pulse and tongue diagnosis, and I can feel all the organs. And I go, oh, liver, yeah, okay, you need some Xiaoyaosan. And a lot of my patients, they have Xiaoyaosan and they take it until, oh, the symptoms go away. Then they stop and they keep it in their medicine cabinet. So you want herbs in your medicine cabinet. I teach another class called the Herbal Medicine Cabinet. Maybe I should do a podcast on that too. So you pull out the herbs when you need them. And then when you didn't finish the bottle, put it back on the shelf. They keep as long as you keep them at a reasonable temperature. You don't freeze them or let them get out in the sun too hot. They'll keep for a long time past the expiration date. So fast can be 3 to 7 days. Best not to exceed 7 days unless you really know what you're doing and you know how to do longer term fasts. I wouldn't go past 7 days. A great fast lasts 3 to 5 days, followed by a 1 to 2 day slow reintroduction of food. Remember, I said broth, or if you're a vegetarian, do a vegetable broth. If you're not, make a homemade chicken broth. I had chicken broth today. I had warm chicken broth in the morning. So instead of tea, took some homemade broth that I had just made, and I warmed it up, and I had chicken broth as my warm beverage for the morning in the winter. This is not a diet program. Dieting. Okay, what do a lot of people do? They'll go to the store, they'll see a supplement or some gimmicky thing, And what do those things have in them? The diet supplementation and weight loss. I should say weight loss rather than diet. Weight loss stuff is a multi-billion-dollar business. And what do most of them have in it? Caffeine, a diuretic, three things: caffeine, and something to move your bowels. So the caffeine amps up your heart rate, makes you jittery. It makes you feel like it boosted your metabolism, but it actually didn't, because you're going to crash. The diuretic gets rid of any excess water in your body, and the bowel movement gets the poop out of your body. So people will say, oh, I tried this diet, or I tried this supplement, or I tried this whatever, and I immediately lost 10 pounds in the first week. No, you didn't. You didn't lose. You lost zero fat. Zero. It was water and poop. You didn't lose any weight. And you're going to gain it all back the next time you eat something. So that's why most of these diets don't work. You have to know what your body needs. Do you have the right flora in the body? Are you making homemade sauerkraut? It's so easy to make, and cabbage is really cheap. Make your own. Takes about, I don't know, 10 to 20 minutes, depending on if you have a pounder or you have to knead by hand. You put it in a mason jar and let it sit with a loose lid for a few days, and then you put it in the refrigerator, and then you eat it every day. It's really, really simple. There's probably 1,000 YouTube podcasts on how to make sauerkraut. It's really easy. Eat it every day, and now you've got cheap, free, easy probiotics. Okay. So we already talked about the specific diet that I was talking about. I still haven't found the name of the company. Let me see if I can find. I want to give the name of the company in case you want to look them up. Let's see. Here it is. Master Fast System. Master Fast System. So I saw a podcast from someone, and I think he has a support group and all kinds of stuff. This was a very long time ago, so I don't know if they're still around. It was, I don't know, at least 10 years ago, maybe 15. So, but I like to always cite my source. So that's who I got this diet from, or this fasting process from. But like I said, I have modified it for me. I would suggest you start with a 1-day fast and try 1 tablespoon and do it simple and see what does and doesn't work. Are you going to need to supplement with herbs? Do you need to contact a healthcare professional to get some help? Whatever you need to do. And again, if you have cancer, you're on chemo, you're pregnant, you're lactating, you have diabetes, any kind, please, or you're on any serious medications, you have high blood pressure, whatever, please contact your doctor first, or find a healthcare professional that specializes in fasting to help work your way through it and build yourself up to doing this. Don't just start cold turkey. So my friend who asked for this, I hope this is what you wanted, and I will post a copy of the protocol down below, so you have access to the names of those herbs formulas, unless you're into Chinese medicine and Chinese herbs. Things like Lu Wei Di Wang Wan and Chia Yu San may blow your mind. And you can only order evergreen herbs through a licensed practitioner. So you do have to work with a professional if you want those herbs. Okay, so I appreciate your time and attention, and thank you for joining us. And let's see, join us Thursday night. I have live meditation every Thursday, starting at 5 o'clock. Yeah, 5 o'clock Arizona time. Arizona doesn't have daylight savings. So this time of year, it's 5 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. In the summer, it's the same as Pacific time. So depending on when you listen to this, adjust the time zone accordingly. Okay, so thank you for coming, and post any questions you have in chat. I'm happy to help you with that, or go to one of my Facebook pages. If you're on Facebook, you can ask questions there. Or you can go to any of my website and get a free 15-minute consultation if that will help you. Okay, so thank you for coming, and remember to be the light you want to see in the world.